Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Deborah Harris Nixon. Toward the end of last year, 2016, I was the moderator of a discussion about cross-gender relationship friendships, and they called it "Why Can't We Be Friends?" And the whole question was, can men and women have friendships, platonic friendships, without it going someplace else? And then I did a radio show when I worked for our university here in South Florida about being friends, just friends. And one of the things that one of our guests said is that men always have ulterior motives when they are friends with women. They're all, this is his opinion, that they're always expecting that it will lead to something else or go deeper than what it is. And then I shared with a friend of mine something that happened to me when I was in college. I was a freshman in college, and there was a gentleman, a young guy. He was a boy, I was a girl. He's from Houston, I'm from Dallas, and we used to swing out. I still don't really know how to do it very well, but he sort of did. So we would swing out. He would come to my room, my dorm room, and I would play the Stevie Wonder song. I can hear it playing now, and we would dance. And that's all that was my only intention. I know that was my motive. But then he tried to take it further. And and then when I shared this with my longtime friend, he finally told me, basically, he didn't say this, but it meant that was really naive of you to think that that's all he wanted to do was just come and dance. But that is all I thought, and it never crossed I didn't like him, I wasn't even attracted to him or nothing like that. So it never crossed my mind that he liked me and that he was going somewhere else with it. Okay, so that makes my point. I think men and women can be friends, and that's all it is. Because I know if I go into a relationship as your friend, that's really all I intend to be. Anybody else that I in my past that I like, I just like them, and I was kind of old school little person. I didn't approach guys. They would have to approach me, and if they never approached me, then that was just it, because I wasn't going to approach them. That's just the way my mother trained me. So I did not approach men. And so if I like somebody, boys in this case, and they didn't like me, then I finally got over it. And then 7th, 8th grade, I liked two different people, and they may have known it, but of course I was not going to approach them, because that's just not the way I was trained to do. So the way I do relationships with male friends, I treat them just like female friends. And so in my understanding, it can happen. And I know there are lots of women and lots of men who have friends who are just friends, but I guess if I was really honest, almost every male friend I've ever had, I could always tell they was a little attracted to me, but they always knew where I stood. So because they were my friends, they didn't try anything, the ones who were my friends. So can men and women be friends? Yes, they can, if one of either the male or the female makes sure it stays that way. And then I just thought about it. I've had more than a few guys tell me that they crossed the line and they wish they hadn't. Which brings me to the reason why it's difficult for these cross-gender relationships to thrive, is because discipline. Discipline. You have to, if you value this person and respect this person as a friend, then you need the discipline to say, this is my friend, and I don't care how good he looks or how good she looks, or how beautiful a person they are and how you would love to be with them. If it's not a mutual coming together, and I mean where you one day looked at each other and the music started playing and you decide, oh, we were supposed to be more than friends, and we both agree this is. Because I really do believe that the best marital relationships are relationships where people are actually friends. They don't have to start out that way, but they once they get together, they say, oh, to me, the friendship is the big, to me, I think that's how the marriage is going to stay together, because you are in this with a friend, somebody you would, is ride or die. You got their back, they have yours, and that's where it's going to be. So that's a side thing. I think that's really important in the marriage. But if we have decided, one or both of us have decided that we are just going to be friends, in the strictest sense, I don't mean friends with benefits, in the strictest sense, then the discipline has to kick in. And when you think you're being attracted to your friend, then you go and you go home. You go and talk to someone else. You go and talk it through, because what you do not want to do is jeopardize your friendship. I hear someone sharing with me now how he wished he hadn't crossed the line, and after he crossed the line, the friendship was never the same. And you just messed up a great relationship. Somebody who you see, this is what I think has to happen. The person just can't be your friend. They have to be your brother or your sister. And if you have normal relationships with your brothers and your sisters, then that is not even the thing you would think about, because that is your brother or your sister, period. So that may be a nice metaphor for those of you who want to maintain a good relationship with someone who you consider your friend, but at the same time not ever do something to jeopardize it. That becomes your brother, that becomes your sister. That's a nice metaphor to do that. And then discipline, and that's a way to discipline yourself. But basically, this is who we are, and this is the way it's going to be, and keep it that way. So I think it can happen, but again, and I'm going to throw men on the bus just a little bit, because you are such visual characters, and you have been trained to think of women as sexual partners and nothing else. Because you got your boys to be friends. You don't need a woman to be your friend. You just need her to be I guess, sexual partner. And I'm exaggerating that a little bit. But if my guess is right or near right, he said men always have, what did he call it? I can't think of it. What it meant. But basically intentions. Always have intentions of wanting the relationship to be more. And while that may or may not be the case, if you ever want to have wholesome relationships with women, then you have to think of them as sisters, and you have to learn to respect that they are here for more than just your sexual pleasure. I'm just going to put it out there. So, yes, they can be. But again, you got to be disciplined. Men and women, you just have to maintain that this is who we are. And then if you decide not to, just know just be ready for the possibility that if it does not work, that you just ruined your friendship. And I guess you just find another friend to be, or just wait till you find your mate and your partner, life partner, and be friends with that person of the opposite sex, and then you can get both things. You can get sex and you can have your great friend. But anyway, I hope you got what I was after in that. Until next time, this has been Dr. Deborah Harris Nixon, and if you got questions, go to my website, drdeborah.nixon.com, and subscribe and stay connected to me. Till then, take good care of yourself.